Remind my colleagues to please silence all electronic devices at this time. And we are beginning first with our Military Connected Students Workshop because we have some guests here this evening and we want to allow them to go first. So we'll do our admin matters second as part of the workshop agenda. So, Dr. Spence.
Oh, you're going to do admin matters second. Great.
Yes.
So we're going to turn this then right over to Dr. Cashwell, who's here to talk about during this month of the Military Child, how we support our military connected students. Amy?
Absolutely. Good evening, Chairwoman Anderson, Vice Chair McDonald, board members, and Dr. Spence. As Dr. Spence just mentioned, April absolutely is Month of the Military Child, and so what better time than to spend a few moments with you all sharing a multitude of supports we have in place for our military families, but also to highlight the outstanding partnerships we have with our local military. So we're really thrilled tonight to be able to have the opportunity, again, to share that support system with you and a number of the programs we have in place, and also to highlight the partnerships. But before we get started, I want to acknowledge a number of guests who are with us tonight. First, I'd like to acknowledge Captain Chad Vincelette, Commanding Officer at Naval Air Station Oceana. So thank you for being here, and of course as your continued support as an outstanding partner to Virginia Beach City Public Schools. Thrilled to have you. Also couldn't join us tonight, but also want to acknowledge Captain Joey Franson, the commanding officer at Joint Expeditionary Base Little Creek Fort Story. While he couldn't be here, a number of staff from the base are here. If you all would stand to be recognized, and we thank you for your support. We also have with us this evening Navy Region Mid-Atlantic School Liaison Officer Debbie Patch, NAS Oceana School Liaison Officer John Hammer, Fort Story School Liaison Officer Vernell Kilpatrick, and Little Creek School Liaison Officer Karen Phillips. If you all would stand to be recognized, and we thank you for hear later throughout the presentation how the individuals we've just recognized tonight have really been instrumental in helping support the division as we continue to work to support our military students and their families. So to start the presentation, we're going to share how the division is committed to providing the strongest systems of support available to our students. And to do that, I'm going to first turn the presentation over to Amanda Yoder and Star Wiggins, who will share some work that has been done. And I'll also remind the board, you may remember that we were the first division in the state, and the only, as of now, division in the state to designate support staff specifically for the role of supporting our military families. So Amanda and Star serve as our military counselors, and of course they work across all of our schools in that specific role, and I think you'll see how in their second year they've been able to accomplish an awful lot. So again, we were thrilled to have that support provided to the board for our schools. Also, Natalie Miggs will join us at the podium. She's our coordinator of military grants and transition programs in the Office of Student Support Services. And then later in the presentation, they're going to turn it over to Amber Rock with our Office of Community Engagement, and she's going to share more about that partnership connection. So we have a lot of exciting things to share with you. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Amanda.
Good evening, Chairwoman Anderson, members of the board, and Dr. Spence. We'd like to thank you for this opportunity to speak about military students and the work we're doing to support military families. As many of you know, we have a quarter of our students who have a parent on active duty and many others who have a parent that is retired or a veteran. Military families face some unique challenges, such as frequent moves and enduring deployments. With these moves, they encounter complexities with the academic curriculum, extracurricular clubs and sports, as well as making friends. They also encounter an increased level of stress as they worry about the safety and security of their loved ones serving our country. As you may remember from our presentation 2 years ago, my position as well as STARS were originally funded by a grant from the Department of Defense Education Activity, known as DODEA, and those counselors served just 6 schools. However, the knowledge gained through that grant inspired us to keep the 2 military counselors and fund them on local funds to support this population across the school division.
As school counselors, we understand the developmental needs of our military and civilian children alike. And through working with this specific population, we have learned to address some of those specific needs. So on this slide, you can see that we're listing some of the most common ways that we support our military-connected students and families. We assist families with transitions academically, such as helping students choose classes that align best before or after a move. And we work to ensure that students are aware of the vast programming that is available within VBCPS and that they're poised to graduate on time. By having discussions with families in advance, the sending school can make necessary changes to schedules to ensure that students are able to graduate on time and to increase the likelihood that they can pursue the advanced diploma versus the standard diploma when they arrive here in Virginia Beach. For our younger students, we also work with families to help identify curriculum gaps that may exist, and we offer those resources to help them address those gaps. We also work with families to ensure that any gifted testing and identification necessary can be done with a more flexible timeline for families that are new to our area. Through mitigating some of the academic challenges of moving, military students and families are then able to focus on the social and emotional adjustment and more focus on becoming active members of their new school and community. We also encourage peer support, transition programs such as S2S and Anchor for Life. These help new students get tours of their new schools and a buddy, which will help them when they arrive to the VBCPS school. And they also offer deployment and moving support groups. Through continuous professional development that we provide to various division staff, we also work to raise awareness of all of the needs of our military families. We support events such as Art of Being a Military Child and Purple Up Day, which we just had on April 13th. Through our work with high school military students, we are aware that we have quite a few students who are going to be going to college, and they may be the first to go the traditional route. And so we offer additional support for them, such as when to take their SAT, how to apply for college, and the financial aid process. We also support them with information about military scholarships and how to use their parents' GI Bill. To accomplish this, Amanda and I, we meet with individual military students twice a year to discuss their post-secondary plans, and we also offer parent nights throughout the year, and these are called COMS, which stands for College Options for Military Students, which is great because every good military program needs an acronym. We also build relationships with our school liaison officers, and we also work with community networks here in Virginia Beach, such as Fleet and Family Services, Tutor.com, and Hampton Roads Military Community Advisory Council. When needed, we provide social and emotional support, such as when a service member is injured or dies on active duty, or when a school counselor requests our additional support.
We recognize that the military has its own culture and that it's important for us to speak their language in order to build a rapport with the families. On the screen are just some of the terms we use routinely with families to build this rapport. We also train other VBCPS staff on this language, as we have found that using a common language can set families at ease and serve to provide them with a warm welcome. We'd like to explain just a few of these terms. Some of you may be familiar, but you've heard us refer to the school liaison officers a few times tonight, and we have several with us today. Their acronym is SLO, sometimes known as SLOW, but they are not. And they work to provide school information to military bases, as well as connecting schools to military volunteers. They also connect incoming families with more information about specific school districts in the area. Gold Star refers to a family who has lost their service member while he or she is on active duty. Unfortunately, we have quite a large number of Gold Star families that are part of VBCPS. It is important that we remember to acknowledge and continue to serve them as part of the military community. EFMP stands for Exceptional Family Member Program. This is a program for military families who have a spouse or a child with a medical condition. It may limit where the families can be sent so that the family can have all of the services that they need provided. We are one of the few areas where high needs families known as Category 4 or Category 5 can be stationed, so we do see a higher than normal population of military connected students with special needs for this reason.
In addition to supporting military-connected students and families, our work gives us a unique opportunity to raise awareness among teachers, administrators, counselors, and other staff members about challenges military-connected students face, as well as their strengths. Through professional learning opportunities, Amanda, Starr, and myself have offered a variety of trainings to all school registrars, school counselors, military family life counselors, also known as MFLEX, new school psychologists, and new social workers. The photo on the right from a recent interactive training called the PCS Challenge, or Permanent Change of Station, that we have developed in partnership with our SLOs, is to assist staff members in experiencing a military move and gaining insight into the aspects of military lifestyle. We look forward to presenting this professional learning to new teachers during TACLE and also during the Administrators Conference this summer. In all of our professional learning sessions, we ensure that the military's unique language, as well as the impact of frequent moves and deployments have on military-connected students, is addressed. We also brief staff members on the guidance of the Military Interstate Compact. While military families certainly face hardships, there are also a number of celebrations military families relish in throughout their service and many transitions. I'd like to share a short video clip that illustrates my point regarding the complexity of transitions for our military students.
Parents met in Texas, then they moved to Washington. They had me at Fort Knox. They keep all the gold there. After that, we moved to Georgia for a couple years. Then we spent some time in Korea. Seaweed snack. Ew. And now we live here for good.
Our members call many places home.
Oh, lots of questions.
So we
As you can see, many of our military students bring with them stories and experiences from having traveled around the world, have a great appreciation for diversity, and are able to contribute to the unique instructional environment. Many times their seaweed snack moment can be something that unites them with other military children or exposes their classmates to a whole new perspective. We know that the military has a plethora of resources, and through our work, we have learned that many times families don't always know how to access these incredible supports. We work to connect families to resources both directly as well as ensuring our school counselors, military family life counselors, and other support staff are familiar with the vast range of resources. Through the current active DODEA grant, Project GRIT, Globally Resilient Innovative Thinkers, I have been working to develop a resource map to assist school staff in locating resources to support military families, ranging from grief support to family services and family programs. I'm excited to announce that Project GRIT will be forming a partnership to create a summer internship for a student from our very own Advanced Technology Center, who will turn this resource map into a user-friendly app in the summer of 2019 with plans to launch in the 2020-2021 school year.
You'll remember that Virginia has the highest number of military children of any state. As such, we're fortunate to have state-level support involved in military initiatives. As you know, Dr. Spence is a member of the Virginia Council on the Interstate Compact on Educational Opportunity for Military Children. Because that is such a mouthful, it's often known as the Military Interstate Compact Council. We attend these quarterly meetings to hear current trends or concerns military students and families face around the state, as well as to hear about various programs school divisions are using with their military populations. The council is supported by VDOE's Military Student Support Process Action Team, known as MISPAT, of which I am a member. This committee is made up of school liaison officers, VDOE officials, school counselors, and DODEA grantees from around the Commonwealth, and serves as a support mechanism for the Interstate Compact Council. A new initiative that debuted this month from the Council and VDOE is the Virginia Distinguished Purple Star School Designation. Schools who meet the required criteria can apply for this designation, and schools who are awarded the Purple Star will be recognized quarterly at the council meetings in Richmond and will be able to display the logo on their school website and in their school. The idea is that military families will be able to seek out schools who are aware of and responsive to military family needs by their Purple Star designation. As a school division committed to meeting the needs of our military students as well as all students, we are well on our way to ensuring that all of our schools are poised to meet the requirements for the Purple Star designation. The check marks on the slide denote that all schools in the division currently meet these listed requirements, and for many of the other activities, most or many of our schools have activities or programs that will satisfy the requirements outlined by VDOE. I'll go through them step by step now. Of the required activities, the school must have a point of contact for military students and families. The point of contact serves as a primary liaison between them and the school. It could be a teacher, counselor, administrator, or other staff member. This designated point of contact must complete professional development on the special considerations for military students and families, including the Military Interstate Compact. This can be completed via the VDOE module that they have now made available or an approved internal training. The school must also maintain a student-led transition program. The program should provide support to newly enrolled and withdrawing students, to include those that are military connected. In Virginia Beach, any school who has an active S2S or Anchored for Life club will have met this requirement as well. As you'll note later in our presentation, we are increasing the number of Anchored for Life clubs to include more elementary schools and all middle schools as of the start of next school year. So many of our schools will have met this requirement. Because Virginia Beach is charting the course, we have already helped all of our schools meet the following requirements. The point of contact is supposed to inform teachers of the military connected students in their classroom. In VBCPS, as of the start of this school year, we have a purple star that shows up in Synergy to help teachers, counselors, and administrators know which students are military connected. So the point of contact will not need to duplicate this effort. The school is to keep a dedicated page on its website featuring resources for military families. This requirement will also be met for all VBCPS schools, as the Department of Media and Communications will push the military tab that is currently on the VB Schools site to all individual school websites this summer. And the division has already assigned a central office staff member to be a contact for the school-based liaison and military families through STAR and myself. So the final 3 requirements that are required have been met. The Purple Star designation also requires at least one of the optional activities be completed. We are fortunate enough to have completed that for all schools, as our school board passes a resolution in November in support of Month of the Military Family, and in April in support of Month of the Military Child. All of our schools also already participate in Purple Up, and many participate in Art of Being a Military Child, which can be used to fulfill the optional requirement for a school to host a military recognition event to demonstrate a military family-friendly culture at the school. And while it isn't required, we would certainly encourage all of our schools to complete the final optional activity by providing professional development to all school staff on special considerations for military students and families. While several of our schools are poised to be able to apply for and receive the Purple Star designation right away, we look forward to supporting all of our schools to ensure they have the activities in place to apply for and receive this designation.
VBCPS is fortunate to have military family life counselors, known as MFLEX, in many of our schools. Currently, we have 27 MFLEX that serve 45 schools. Some schools have an MFLEX full-time, while others have a half-time split between 2 schools. This program is a contract paid for by the Office of the Secretary of Defense, and MFLEX are not VBCPS employees. These counselors are licensed mental health professionals who are able to run deployment and moving groups with military students in our schools. There are limitations on what they can do, but we have worked together to improve the way that they collaborate and assist their school counselors in their buildings through monthly trainings and yearly meetings with staff from schools who currently have MFLEX. Despite a similar name, this position is very different from ours, and one way to identify is that MFLEX will have a gold name tag as featured on this slide in place of a VBCPS badge. MFLEX are also on each base and accessible to military families. We work closely with our 3 school liaison officers. They connect the school and military communities in many ways. We're quite fortunate to also have many of our military members volunteer in our schools. Earlier this year, we had over 180 sailors from USS Abraham Lincoln reach as students in 20 of our elementary schools as a part of Read Across America. We've had sailors raise the flag and talk about the Navy on the Navy's birthday. We've had members of EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal, and underwater divers engage with students about STEM and the military, and every year many volunteers assist with our field days or 8th grade celebrations. We cannot mention school liaison officers and not mention the annual Art of Being a Military Child exhibition, which is currently on display at Lynn Haven Mall through April 30th. This event is an outstanding example of school, military, and community partnerships and has resulted in VBCPS student artwork being on display during the month of April at the Virginia Department of Education building in Richmond. While we are fortunate to have military members come off base and serve in our schools and communities, sometimes we were able to take students and staff into the base as well. Last year, Joint Expeditionary Base Little Creek hosted a field trip for Shelton Park Elementary to plant oysters on a reef at the base, an event that their principal, Ms. Tara Brewer, will speak about more in a few minutes. With this trip, students were able to learn about the other aspects of military and civilian work that happens in the Bay, in addition to the oyster restoration component. Natalie, Amanda, and I attend back-to-school carnivals at both Fort Story and Oceana every year to ensure that our families have an opportunity to meet us, as well as the school liaison officers.
You have heard us mention during this presentation the peer transition programs such as Anchored for Life, which is currently in 12 of our elementary schools, with plans to expand to 24 more of our elementary schools and 14 middle schools during the 2018-2019 school year. Anchored for Life is a program fully funded by the Navy, which comes with some incredible resources for all of our students. The goals of Anchored for Life are to teach and reinforce life skills to better connect with peers and community during transitions, provide growing opportunities to increase competency and character by positively addressing setbacks, and build confident leaders who inspire others by contributing to a caring and supportive environment. Transitions are addressed in a broader sense through Anchored for Life. Some of the topics covered are moving, deployment, reintegration, making friends, confronting fears, and homework. Team leaders or students are empowered to give new student tours, welcome new students, and even provide support kits for each of the transitions displayed on this slide. There are also small group lessons and activities to help students in each area of transition to assist with bouncing back from a setback they may experience in daily life. In addition to the kits pictured here that the student team leaders are trained to distribute, there are kits for grief and divorce that are distributed only by the school counselor or the adult club advisor. The Anchored for Life program also encourages students to participate in a service project each year. The program is truly turnkey in that it provides an annual training and all the necessary components, character development quotes, lessons, kits, and service project ideas, but is flexible to ensure that it fits appropriately into every school culture. Military students also have a free online tutoring resource available to them called tutor.com. In the past, we have let students and family know about this resource, but we have found it was still underutilized. We learned through working with one of our SLOs that when tutor.com was able to come to each school and walk the students through the process of registering and experience a sample session, they were much more likely to use this resource on a regular basis. Thanks to many schools having one-to-one devices, students were able to bring their devices to a central location to experience the tutor.com platform and have expressed that they are able to access this resource more frequently. In the